How many times have you watched Christopher Robin trailer?
I watched the Christopher Robin trailer once. Yeah.
I've seen it at least
because
5 times.
since watching the first trailer, it's not what I wanted. It's not what I wanted, Cameron.
It's like Paddington.
I know, but I thought it was gonna be like real. Well, not obviously real, but I thought it was gonna be like this big world, and like, but I obviously in the original books he is actually a toy bear. So, but I was expecting this massive. Well, not massive, but bear, and like these sort of cool CGI, sort of magic-looking
like
animals.
The Jungle Book.
Or you mean Mowgli?
What were you wanting from this movie? This looks This sounds ridiculous.
I
always expected the bear to be a toy bear, like from the books.
I wanted him to go to. I wanted it to be Return to the 100-Acre Woods. I wanted my heffalumps and I wanted my woozles.
You'll get heffalumps and you'll get your woozles. I 100% guarantee you will see a heffalump and a woozle.
Will we get the song, though? One of the greatest songs in all of cinema.
I think there may be a hum. I think he'll at least hum it. I think I will put bets. I think
Beware.
Beware.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good.
The Pooh will just be walking through 100-Acre Woods and we're going, That's how the film will open.
Yeah.
I can see it. But yeah, he's just so cute, and he says so wise things.
What do you think of Ewan McGregor's British accent? Because
you mean just
Jesus
it's just
Christ,
Obi-Wan Kenobi, is he not? I didn't notice anything.
Hello, Bear. How are you? It's so overly British.
I never noticed anything. I thought it was just like about Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's all. I didn't think anything of it. I noticed Hayley Atwell was in it. I forgot she was cast in that.
Yeah,
was news to me. I think it just looks so much fun though. And
do you think they're gonna ever talk about like the sexual tension between Kanga and Tigger? Because if you've seen the Tigger movie, you know what I'm talking about.
I've seen the Tigger movie.
She was giving him the fuck me eyes, like, oh.
No, don't do this to me, please.
Right.
I like these characters so much.
Yeah.
Have you I had chills. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had chills. If you had my reaction of watching the trailer,
I'm looking forward to it. I
should have
hope
filmed
it's good.
I'm gonna. I tweeted. I'm gonna buy a Winnie the Pooh. And I'm gonna bring him to midnight showing. I'm gonna bring that boy to midnight showing. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna hug him. I'm gonna be like, oh, it's so cute. And my mum's reaction to the trailer was lovely as well when Tigger showed up, because I had a strong love for Tigger as a toddler.
Yes, Tigger.
I love a bit of Tigger, and I was upset that Rabbit's an actual rabbit. I didn't think that would be what the case is.
Oh,
did you see that?
Oh
yeah.
No, that's me trying.
Rabbit is Rabbit is a legit rabbit in the trailer. You only see her for like a second.
Christopher Robin. I can't.
What is that?
My Winnie the Pooh impression is just me going through puberty. Oh no, Christopher Robin! Oh.
I'll be taking the entire family day one to see that movie. I'll just be dragging them out there.
But you mentioned Jungle Book. We got the trailer for Mowgli. I forgot and now remembered.
Oh yeah. That Andy Serkis movie. I remember waking up one morning and just turning on the telly, and Andy Serkis was sitting on this morning, and I was like, oh my god. The trailer. It's right there in front of me.
This film, I was looking forward to it because it's a darker take. It's more aligned with the book, so it's sort of darker. And also, Andy Serkis is brilliant. I love him, and all his CGI stuff is really good looking. But with this trailer,
he's pretty decent at normal movies.
Trailer, you could cut in scenes from Jungle Book, the Jon Favreau Jungle Book, and you couldn't tell the difference.
It's going to be too similar for normies, I think.
They have the not Nagini. That's Voldemort's snake. What's the fucking snake called?
Ralph Fiennes.
Huh?
No, Ray Fiennes. No, wait. What are you talking about?
Khan. No, Ka.
Scarlett Johansson.
Kaa. No, yes, it's Kate Blanchett. It's Kate Blanchett, but it's a. Ka is now a big snake played by a woman, and that's what was happened. That was Scarlett Johansson in the Jungle Book. So she
was really good in the Jungle Book.
It's so similar. Benedict Cumberbatch is Shere Khan. he sounds really good. Like
Who was Shere Khan in Idris Elba, wasn't it? In
Was
Jon
it?
Favreau's.
Or was it?
Yeah, it was Idris Elba. Or Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Was it Chiwetel Ejiofor?
It was Idris Elba. It was Idris Elba because they gave the British voice to the Panther, who was Ben Kingsley.
Yeah.
And
the Panther, Bagheera,
Yeah.
man, Jesus.
I should know all the names. I was in a production at the Marlow Theatre in Canterbury of The Jungle Book, and I was a monkey.
Yeah. And we got Andy Serkis as Blue instead of
This is
Andy
exciting
Murray.
news, and I can't believe you're not listening to me. That's fucking rude, man. Ask for questions. It doesn't matter.
Do you want me to
doesn't
ask you about your production of Jungle?
My past theatre life. No, I just don't care about this movie. I think I just want more Favreau. I like the Disney take on it better than I like the Dark take on it.
I just
think
want
there's
the
space
Lion
for it,
King,
but I feel like
man.
it's too close. I feel it's too close for it's too close to come out now, and I think Disney beat them to it, and they should just accept defeat. But I know it's too expensive not to release. So,
but I just want them to release the trailer for the Lion King because, Jesus, am I looking
you'll
forward
get
to that?
December Mary Poppins, I'd assume.
Really?
Yeah, that'll be attached to Mary Poppins in December, I'd assume.
Do you not think we'd get anything before that?
Nah. Maybe a small teaser, but the proper first trailer will be attached to Mary Poppins. Isn't
It's
it
2019.
like May or something?
It's expected 19th of July. I want to see
it'll be
my
Mary
Donald
Poppins.
Glover Simba, my Seth Rogen Pumbaa, my Chiwetel Ejiofor Scar, my Billy Eichner stuff. James Earl Jones is back, which is cool.
John Oliver as the Toucan. I can't remember the name of now. I want to say
Zazu.
Yes,
Jesus
that's
Christ, you're terrible. I
back,
don't
it
think
just-
he'll be as good as Rowan Atkinson because Rowan Atkinson is bae.
I don't know if you were to cast someone right now, like you would go Zazu would be John Oliver. Like there's no doubt about it. He's the perfect voice, 2018 voice for Zazu.
Rowan Atkinson's still alive and kicking, man.
I'm aware, but he's not like Mr. Bean.
He's got one of the
anymore, is he?
biggest blockbuster films coming out later this year, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Johnny English.
Johnny-
Reborn?
Strikes-
No, Johnny English Strikes
Strikes
Again.
Again.
Yeah. Oh boy. Do you think the animals look a bit weird in the Mowgli trailer? Just a little bit.
Do they look weird to you? I think they just
Yeah,
look
'cause
exactly like the Jungle Book animals.
No, because when I watched them on this morning, they had like a behind the scenes featurette as well. I don't know if they released it, but they had like what they did was they took the motion capture of the face and the actual animal, and they stopped midway through. Like it was like, you know how that animorphs.
All right.
So they took the facial like capture of like their performance, and they kind of like merged it into the animal, and they've like stopped midway through, so it like you can still see their facial features.
There's a
like you
shot
can go,
of...
oh, that is Benedict Cumberbatch as a tiger, and it's slightly terrifying.
Is that? I don't... I'm looking at a picture of him right now. I can't see Benedict Cumberbatch in that.
I bet they look too human. That's what I was saying. I wasn't saying like they look. This tiger looks exactly like Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm saying they look a bit human. That's all.
You gotta look for the eyes, man.
Yeah.
Like, you could see most of Andy Serkis through Caesar's eyes in War for the Planet of the Apes, best film of 2017. Highly
Sorry.
underrated.
I don't think it's underrated. I just think you need to watch more movies. No, I'm joking. Because Blade Runner's right there, and the Florida Project's right there.
Blade Runner's number 2.
Other movies are right there, man. And
I like War
it's
for
like
the Planet of the Apes
top
more
top
than Blade
top
Runner.
15.
Deal
top
with
20.
it, man.
Top 20? I think it's top 20.
Top
Yeah.
5. Number 1.
No, I don't. It didn't crack my 10.
No. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Oh Hi Films podcast, the only podcast that watches you while you sleep.
I'm there. You better watch yourself, man. Keep one eye open tonight.
We're like Santa. My name is Jordi Steele, and I'm joined, as always, with my lovely co-host, Cameron Howe.
I would say you're my co-host.
Cameron, how are you doing?
I want to die. No, I'm okay. I want to die after you said that to me, but what are you gonna do?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time since we've done this.
Yeah,
feels.
we keep right. People just
No, sorry. Don't say we.
all right. I moved
It's
back
you.
home. Okay, so things are hard. Things will be hard over the summer. It's
Lots of things
it's
to be hard over the
constantly
summer.
hard for me. But we're always going to try and get it done weekly. It may not be on the Saturdays always. It may even be
Who
on the
cares?
Mondays.
6 people listen to
Because
this. It's
my
not going to make
family
a difference.
doesn't value privacy or individuality. So I can't do things on my own most of the time.
That's really depressing for you.
Yeah.
I am currently in a dark room all by myself. No one has said anything. I can hear laughter down the stairs. I'm locked in here forever.
I turned the TV on with my mind today. That was fun.
I don't doubt you did that. I think maybe someone in your house turned it on while you.
No, because
thought about turning it on.
I've been alone all day due to family private matters, and basically there's an in-joke in my family that I have this power that I emit radio waves. That means that technology doesn't generally work around me, and I think I unlocked
Really?
a new level of that power, because today I was taking pictures of my dog in the kitchen, and I tapped the screen to sort of do focus, and it froze, and then when it unfroze, the TV turned on, and you can only turn it on by touching the remote, and the remote
Are you a mutant?
I don't want to be a mutant. I don't want to be a mutant or a meta-human. I just want to be special.
Someone's been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Or Arrow or Flash. I just want to be special.
Oh boy!
I want to be an Inhuman.
That's what they called them. That's what they called Inhumans before they were Inhumans. I'm pretty sure.
I want to be.
I could be wrong.
Fuck! Think of a obscure reference. I want to be.
They already did Inhumans. Wait, why did they do the TV show Inhumans? They already had like the samurai Inhumans in like the Chinese kind of looking village. They had like a kingdom of Inhumans.
Yeah, I watched that season. That's why everyone's like there. I think there was a petition when Inhumans was cancelled, because it wasn't cancelled for some reason for ages. There was a petition that was like saying like, Marvel, can you please just pretend that Inhumans didn't happen, so that we can actually have like a proper film that looks good and has good CGI. And
that might happen. That might still happen. Kevin Feige likes those movies. Likes those people.
If the Fox acquisition happens, then I don't think it will happen.
It's a shame.
So
kind of. What is it though? Really, I don't care about those people.
Anson Mount was a really good cast as Black Bolt, and it's very. I really like Anson Mount. Have
you seen any of the episodes at all?
No, I haven't watched it. No.
I was subjected. I went to go see the first two.
Because if they do remake it, I don't want that in my. Did you go see it in IMAX?
Yeah, I went to see it in IMAX.
How was
Film with IMAX cameras. A boy, your IMAX fanboy boy is not going to go and miss.
How
first TV show film with IMAX cameras. It was dreadful. It was honestly like, it shouldn't. You like the visual effects are that bad that you don't want to have them blown up to that size.
Why was it shot in IMAX? Just for the title of, oh, it was shot in IMAX, so go see it in IMAX.
They just wanted money, I think. They thought they could make a lot of money off the release in the cinemas. That's the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Lockjaw?
Has
Lockjaw come to go and get his revenge?
Just a second. I'll just go kill my dog. I thought it was going to be rubbish from the trailer, so I was like, I don't want to see it because I don't want to ruin the image of Inhumans. Because Inhumans was one of the first Marvel comics that I bought from the Marvel Now series, and now we're just getting too much into my comic book origin.
The first Marvel comic I bought wasn't a comic book. It was one of those like ones you get in Waterstones.
Alright, the absolute first one I got was Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, because Guardians of the Galaxy had just been announced at Comic-Con.
I got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
because
I had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. Oh my god, we're so twinsies.
because it had been announced at at Comic-Con. I was like, oh my god, I want to read what they're about because it looks so cool. And it's that fat
Yeah.
guy from Parks and Rec. So if you haven't listened to the Oh Hi Films podcast,
It's been really shit for the past
previously.
8 weeks, but this time we're gonna make it good.
We just talk about whatever happens in the week, really, and usually there's a film to review, and that film this week is Solo, a Star Wars film. The Star Wars film that...
Solo's a Star Wars film.
Solo, a Star Wars film.
Star Wars, a Solo story.
Story, that's the word.
Story, a Solo Star Wars.
Han Solo, Star Wars Chronicles. It happened, but first we like to talk about some news that happened, and it hasn't been a slow week. Not much has happened.
No,
we got two announcements and confirmations about who's directing certain films, and the first one was the confirmation that Danny Boyle will be directing Bond 25.
I'm pretty sure in our first episode we talked about this, like when it was rumored. I think the first episode, like 10 weeks ago or whatever now. It was the first episode we talked about the rumor about Danny Boyle, and I think we were pretty on board with it. I think it'll be interesting.
He's a really good. He's really good. He's really
man.
good with.
He's good at his job. He's good at his job.
He's a fucking
made a couple good films.
He's really
he's
good
all right.
at pairing.
He's not that bad.
Very good at pairing visuals with sound.
Yeah. You watch,
especially Train
like,
Spotting and
yeah,
Slumdog Millionaire.
Millionaire.
He's
got a good track record. He's a very busy man. I think he's going straight from filming like a musical or something and going right into this in
seems
December.
like a very nice man. I'm interested
like a nice man.
in seeing how he will do the Bond film. I'm excited to see how.
I think we said before as well, and I stand by it. It'll be a bit of a small. I feel like it won't be as big as Bond movie, if that's all right. Like, I don't know if I'm underestimating him, but I feel like it won't be like a. I think obviously we globe-trotting, but it won't be like over the top.
I'm expecting him to be in a Middle Eastern city, and he'll jump on a train or something will happen. Because that always happens.
Universal got the rights as well, which was interesting. I didn't think.
Yeah, they got
Universal...
the distributing rights. Who's had it?
Sony had it before, I think.
Why don't they have it this time?
Because MGM own it. MGM own the rights, but MGM are not big enough to make movies on their own anymore. So they have to have people that back them up with like distribution and stuff. And people distributing it. In the past, I think it started with Fox, and then it moved into Sony with the last two. But I could be wrong. Maybe Fox were just the people that distributes home video. But I think Spectre's 100% a Sony Pictures movie.
Yeah,
not like 100%, but it's Sony. I think I'm trying to remember who's on the box for the movies I own, and I'm pretty sure Fox did the home distribution, but I think Sony have owned the rights previously. I could be completely wrong on that.
I think that's
not
right
rights,
because
I
think in our past when we have been looking at what companies own which franchises, I think James Bond was owned by Sony.
Yeah, but it's owned by MGM. And
I
Barbara
think
Broccoli
Sony definitely
Sony
did
had the distribution rights.
Skyfall.
Yeah, and they obviously did Spectre as well, I'm pretty sure. So
yeah.
Universal. It was a weird pick, I thought.
Who do you think will sing the main titles of?
I think they said Dua Lipa. Was the rumor Dua Lipa, and that made me a bit upset.
Who's that?
That she sings the "Fuck You" song. You say you're sorry. I don't want her to sing it properly because you might get a copyright strike. But she's doing a wee concert tomorrow in Kiev for the football. I don't know. I don't watch sports. I think Liverpool's doing something tomorrow.
Liverpool.
You know, that place.
Liverpool. Oh, this person. Oh, right. Okay. The person that's in the phone advert.
Yeah, the Google Pixel 2.
All right, yeah, I get you now. I get you.
What if I take a picture of this?
I don't
You'll
know
get
if I know any of her music.
You probably won't. She's too cool for you. You probably won't know who she is. It's gonna be someone a bit like older. I feel just because it's Danny Boyle, but I don't know if the studio will step in and get someone younger. But I feel if Danny Boyle has a say in who it is, it could be a bit like an older band.
I think he'll be fine. Danny Boyle's really good.
Yeah,
So,
Danny Boyle's fun. You're in safe hands.
is there
You're
a
gonna
bad
get
film that he's done?
a bad Danny Boyle film. I wasn't a massive fan of 127 Hours. He's
All right.
done a bad film.
I was all right. I found that film okay.
Um,
He did do that. I think he did Slumdog. He did obviously Train Spotting.
28 Days Later is good. I don't know, man.
Right.
Yeah, he's got a good track record, so you can't really fault him there.
Yeah, he's really good at. He's done multiple types of genres, so yeah, we're excited to see what he does. In other news, James Mangold will reportedly be writing and directing the Boba Fett film for Star Wars. It hasn't been officially confirmed, but Boba Fett will probably be getting a spin-off film, since, as Mark Kermode says, every piece of furniture is getting its own film from Star Wars.
Did he say that? I've not watched the new episode.
You did. But yeah, James Mangold, he did Logan.
310 to Yuma. The Western.
Logan was pretty good.
Logan was good. I like Logan. We enjoy Logan. We liked it. I liked it a lot at release, and then kind of thingied off it in the edgy way that I am. Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's writing and directing it, so
he should. It's if I imagine a Boba Fett film, depending on when it takes place, being sort of like Logan. If it takes place, they could swerve us and make it a sequel, or not a sequel to Return of the Jedi, where we finally get the on-screen visual of Boba Fett escaping from the Sarlacc pit.
I think we might get that. I think that's I think it'll be between 6 and 7.
So it'll either be that, and then him being what's he called, Tamura Johnson.
Do you think it'll be the
guy that played
Tamura Johnson, the guy that plays all the clone troopers basically,
and Jango Fett, or Daniel Logan. All right, I hope they bring back Daniel Logan, because that would make sense to play young Boba Fett in between where all the other Star Wars stories take place.
I think if they brought back Tamura Johnson, he would actually look like how he's supposed to look, because he was supposed to grow up to look like Jango Fett, because he's a clone.
Because Alden Ehrenreich looks exactly like Harrison Ford.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it would make more sense, and I don't even know if that guy's still acting.
Daniel Logan.
Yeah.
He is. This will be a horrible time to find out he's dead. He is dead. He was in Sharknado 4.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
The Fourth Awakens. He played a guy called Captain Fett. So his career is thriving right now. So he would bring in.
He could
so
really
much
do
money.
with this movie.
Yeah, but like,
who would they get? Who would be the pool?
Who
would be the pool? Because Woody Harrelson and Emilia Clarke are pretty big names, like in general, like just not like. Who would you get in a supporting role?
Who would you get supporting role? I don't know. I hope
Bosk.
Well, I'm not sure. Right. So if it's set in between the third and fourth film, I hope that it is a certain possible plot for a sequel to Solo, is mentioned in Solo, and maybe Boba Fett could be the sequel to Solo and could involve that plot of a little group being put together.
Did Solo know Han before?
Did Solo know Han?
Sorry, did Solo know Boba Fett before?
They don't have... I'm pretty sure Boba Fett was working for Jabba to capture Han.
Yeah,
so...
If we got one more Solo movie... And then...
They might have. Yeah, if we get another Solo movie, then they're definitely going to... Because I thought that we were going to get Boba in...
And non-spoilers, there's a hint to Jabba, I believe. Because he's not in the movie. He's not in the trailer. And that's pretty obvious. I think if they did another one, it would make sense for Boba Fett. And if they did another Solo movie and it was something to do with the debt that he owes to Jabba, which is mentioned in A New Hope, that would mean that the Boba Fett movie could be like a third installment in the Solo trilogy or something.
If we get another Solo film, we're getting Boba Fett, Django, Jabba, and Greedo, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would
depends. On if it does well this weekend.
To make up on Alden's 3-movie contract, but we'll have to see. Just while we're talking about Star Wars, and before we get to our official review, let's just talk about everything Star Wars that's coming out, because there's so much. We've got Star Wars. We've got Episode 9, obviously.
Yeah,
so that's the next film.
Year. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's like December, is it? I think they pushed it back to December. I hope they push it back to December.
I hope it's December again. I don't think they should have done a summer release for Solo, because
I lost all my hype.
Because it's too close to Last Jedi. So
everyone still hates The Last Jedi, unlike us. But everyone's still a bit salty. Or
loads of people were still still waiting for December when they'll go, where's the Star Wars film? But yeah, so we have Episode 9, which I hope is really good. I trust J.J. Abrams to do at least a safe film.
It will be a very safe film. They're not taking any risks this time. Kathleen Kennedy knows that she slightly fucked up.
No, actually, Snoke survived, and Rey's parents aren't junkers.
They're Obi-Wan Kenobi and some random person.
And Kylo and Rey don't have sexual tension.
Yeah.
I really hope they go with Rey and Poe, because I ship that.
We also have TV series, have we not? Star Wars Rebellion, Star Wars.
We have Resistance, which is the anime style animation that's coming out. So that's exciting. Maybe not to Cameron.
No,
but it is to me.
I watched the TV shows at some point. I'm meaning to watch Clone Wars and Rebels, which both ended, didn't they? They both ended pretty recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oscar Isaac and Gwendolyn Christie are set to reprise their roles as Poe Dameron and Captain Phasma, respectively, in Resistance. So I hope we get more footage of that at maybe Comic-Con. But if Marvel's not there, maybe Star Wars won't be there. I don't know.
I think we maybe Comic-Con, or they'll wait till Celebration, because like Marvel, we do not know anything that's happening after 2019. We know nothing.
We also have D23, don't we?
Yeah, that's this year, isn't it? So that could be
Japan.
Yeah, that could be
in Japan this year, so we could
possible.
We also have
we know semi announcements like Obi-Wan Kenobi and Boba Fett are the two like standalone Star Wars stories we know.
We have the Rian Johnson trilogy,
which starts
have they said trilogy or have they just said series?
They said series, but I think it's safe bet to go trilogy. I think what will happen is we'll start a new trilogy once the main trilogy's over, and so we'll have a main line of Star Wars movies that run through while we have these other standalone movies every year, unless we start doing 2 a year. Which
so we have time
happen
between the main trilogies.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of time. Yeah, that's how I thought. Yeah.
Because I think after 2021 would be Rian Johnson's movie, and 2020 will be Obi-Wan or Boba Fett. You said before we went on,
I'm pretty
Obi-Wan?
sure that. Yeah. I think I don't know if it was confirmed or just reported, but they seem to have found shooting locations in Ireland and are set to start shooting in 2019 because
with Stephen Daldry as a director who did Billy Elliot, which was reported a couple days ago. Did you read the synopsis? You knew like this TMZ reported on a synopsis, and we don't know if it's correct or not. But
we don't know the validity. But
yeah,
it didn't
Thrawn was supposed to be the villain. Is that what you read?
No.
Well, that's what's been reported now.
All right.
Grand Admiral
Mine was
Thrawn's
very
been
much Tatooine set.
Was it?
Yes. And doesn't sound very like outreachy than the most films, so it won't be like multiple planets, it will just be on Tatooine, and it will be about the problems in the society of Tatooine, to not say too much to people that don't want to do anything.
Sound very exciting.
Yes.
I think it'll be a bit more planety hoppy.
At least my idea had them going back to Coruscant.
I think what will happen is it'll be a bit like your idea, and I think it might be a bit the thing that makes them go into exile. I don't think they'll be looking for more. I don't think they'll be looking for a trilogy out of this. I think they'll be looking for a standalone one to shut everyone up, unless it does insanely well. But I think the end will be him going into exile, and just
And then we also have the TV shows. All these TV shows. We have Star Wars Underworld that's been in development for fucking years now.
Is that the Jon Favreau one, or is that a different?
No, this is the one that's been in development since before the Disney acquisition of Lucasfilm.
Is that the one about the cantina, or is that the funny one about the cantina, or is that a different one?
No, this is the one about it's like the underworld of Coruscant and like the bad guys and criminals. So we have that. I don't think that will ever come.
No, that doesn't sound like it's coming.
Even though they keep saying they're still working on it.
It's supposed to be a HBO.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what came up there. That's what came up when I googled it.
Alright. We have the Jon Favreau series.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that'll be about. We have the D&D, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, the showrunners of Game of Thrones, who have done a really good job with Game of Thrones. So,
did they? I never noticed.
I mean, it's one of the most popular TV shows in the world of all time. Emilia Clarke recently said that their film or their series will be like Star Wars on acid. So that's a direct quote. So I don't know if that's a direct quote.
I think I read that as well. It's like, she said Game of Thrones and Star Wars on acid or something like that. It was something on acid. You were right there. You're half right.
It's Star Wars. Yeah. What they brought to fantasy is a genre people are appreciating on much grander scale, putting all of that creativity, all of that skill, and all of that intellect into something that already is or has so much. I think it's just going to be Star Wars on acid. It will be amazing. I can't wait. That's Emilia Clarke.
Who was she saying that to?
She was saying that to Variety, who they're pretty good when it comes to like.
Hollywood Reporter and Variety are two like trade magazines.
This is an interview, so.
But like you were questioning the whole like. I was questioning the James Mangold thing, and you got confused when I was talking about it. But they're pretty on the ball when it comes to stuff like that. So, yeah, I think the James Mangold thing is going to happen, and I think Stephen Daldry is going to direct a Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. It's going to be fun times. Oh my god!
So we have the Jon Favreau thing, the Ryan Johnson thing, the D&D thing. So many things, man. We got so many things coming out. But what has just come out is Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, right, yes.
Starring Alden Ehrenreich as
Will Arnett.
Han Solo.
Ludacris.
Stop talking about show dogs. We're not talking about show dogs. Nothing will ever beat Cats and Dogs, which still holds up, might I add. It doesn't.
The director of Scooby-Doo directed Show Dogs.
James Gunn.
James Gunn did
something with Scooby-Doo.
He wrote.
He wrote it.
He didn't write. He wrote.
He writ it.
He writ it very good.
Anyway, it's also starring Emilia Clarke as Kira, Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian, Woody Harrison,
Tobias Beckett,
which could be a reference to Arrested Development, since it is directed by Ron Howard.
Well, 70% of it is directed by Ron Howard. Redirected. Because this movie obviously had the big hullabaloo, is that the right
kerfuffle.
Word? The big kerfuffle with Kathleen Kennedy and Phil Lord and Chris Miller. Apparently she didn't like the way they were working. They worked.
So why'd they hire them?
I think it was because they were a bit more improv-y and they were like, just go with it. It's fine. And she didn't like the uncertainty or something like that.
Yeah, that's why they fired them, but why did they hire them? If that's
they were looking.
How they work.
I don't think she had a problem with that, but I think someone complained, and then she just did it.
I think, or I've heard that Lawrence Kasdan is a bit of a control freak.
Oh right.
And likes I think the way Lord and Miller were doing it, where it wasn't what he thinks is Star Wars enough, and I think they were making it a sort of more comedy.
That's a good question to
imagine.
Have. Is it Star Warsy enough? Because I feel this movie wasn't Star Warsy enough to be considered a. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna have to drop that at some point, because if we want different kinds of movies, it's just weird. You know what I mean? Like, especially with the spin-offs.
It goes back to the argument that, well, not argument, but the concept that we talked about after Last Jedi came out, which was when ranking all the Star Wars films, do you rank them in terms of film or in terms of Star Wars films?
Yeah.
In terms of what feels sci-fi and Star Warsy. So to start off, let's just sort of talk about the story. It's set in between episode 3 and episodes 4, so it's before we get Han Solo meeting Luke Skywalker and Obi and Leia.
And it must be pretty recent after Revenge of the Sith. It doesn't feel like it's been that long since it all fell.
Because it says it's in a time of unlawness, when there's no law, but which is weird because we see loads of Empire stormtroopers everywhere. So I think it's just as they're beginning to take power, or as they're taking power, even though So
even though there was a republic, so I don't know what's that about.
But they've just destroyed power. So I think it's like the transition of when Chancellor Palpatine sort of stopped the Confederate and made it into the Empire. It's a young Han Solo. Basically, it's about him he becomes a criminal and he's trying to get money to go back to his planet of Corellia.
To reunite with his girlfriend.
Kira, played by Emilia Clarke.
Which is fun times. She's pretty cool. I'm a fan of her.
Some things go wrong because they're doing a massive heist. They've been hired for this heist. He and Woody Harrelson's team. So they're doing a heist for Dryden Voss, played by Paul Bettany. Dryden Voss is the leader of the Crimson Dawn, which is this sort of gang or crime syndicate, and the heist goes wrong. So basically, they still owe Dryden Voss what they were trying to get, but things are a little harder now. They have to find it in a different way and get it back to them. Dryden Voss is a bit of a dick, and he's like, "Oh, if you don't, I'll kill you." And he also has Kira, who appears, and we never really find out why Kira is with Dryden Voss or how she got off Corellia.
I think
they keep saying, yeah, they only allude to it by saying like, "Oh, she did things that you wouldn't see her in the same way if she did." So I think maybe some sexual things.
I don't know. I think they felt there was a couple things where they're like, "Oh, we're gonna try and keep some." I think we might get a sequel out of this thing. We'll try and keep it for a sequel. It felt a bit like that.
So they're doing this job for Dryden Voss, and that's when you realize that this entire film is centered around the Kessel Run.
Who didn't think it was sex? Think about the Kessel Run.
I know. Well, I knew it was going to be in it, but I didn't realize that the entire thing was going to be basically set around it. Because the whole thing is that they go to this place through the Kessel Run, through where the Kessel Run happens, and you're like, oh, so they'll have to get back. And I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if they're all going to die. Maybe not. And that's what happens.
Okay.
What did you think of Alden Ehrenreich's portrayal of Han Solo?
I liked him better than a lot of other people and a lot of the actors in this. You think he?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he deserves a lot of the hate. I feel like he gets for it. He didn't kind of. He's not. At least he wasn't doing an impression. It was kind of like his own take on the character. Where kind of still had the spirit of Han Solo, which was cool. Like he didn't kind of like. He didn't try and copy the way that Harrison Ford spoke word for word, which is more than can be said for Mr. Donald Glover.
I do feel like he was missing the sort of cynicism that Han Solo has in the original saga.
I feel he might grow into that. Like I feel we got to remember it's a young Han Solo. But I feel like
but that means that you're expecting character development for the sequels that may not happen, which isn't a good thing.
You can't expect him to be developed in one movie, otherwise it doesn't leave much for like a development.
I do if it's an origin film, if they're going to put everything in, but do we really need a sequel? We don't need any film, really, if you think about it.
You got all deep there.
We don't need... Do we need any film?
Need films? No.
Do we want a film?
Possibly.
Do you want a sequel?
I would watch a sequel. I would if I didn't go and see movies like all the time, I would still go and watch a sequel to this movie. And I would go and see a sequel for this movie.
It's very.
I think this movie. Let me just quickly say that this movie didn't do as well on a Friday as Rogue One did, but it did almost as good as its Saturday, so it could pick up in the next God knows how long. So I just felt like, you know that
Rogue One made $155 million.
This should get to 120 or something, I think. But it's
made 47 million worldwide so far, I think.
Yeah.
Which is not what they were predicting.
What were they predicting?
I say they. I mean people that there are these bunch of people that look at they track stats of who's seeing it, and people were predicting it to make around 150 million in its like opening day.
It could get there. It's a 4-day weekend.
I think it will slowly get. I think it will break even, but it will take a while. In comparison to other Star Wars
cap
films.
Off maybe at 500 million worldwide, I think, because there's so much. It's just summer is so constant. We're moving.
That's still.
I think.
Did you say 500 million?
Yeah, that's not a ton.
That's still twice its budget.
In Star Wars.
That's
in Star
Wars successful
money,
film
that's not
though.
Great. Yeah, it's a successful movie for a movie, but Star Wars. It comes back to the Star Wars film versus Star Wars film thing.
I know, like it's not. Yeah. In terms of Star Wars films, it's not done successful. But in terms of films, if you double your budget,
you're doing well.
250 million was your budget, then yeah, that's a good. You've made back your money twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to Alden Ehrenreich. Yeah, he was
He was
all right.
he was fine.
I basically you've said. Yeah, I
copied
agree with what you
said.
said. He wasn't doing his impression. He was just doing his character. Still don't think it was deep enough, but I
wouldn't agree. I wasn't saying
he
this
hasn't.
I wasn't saying he's got like a masterpiece of a character. What I was saying is just it was like he didn't add anything, but there's still, if he does a sequel, there's still room for him to add more of the stuff that we found out in A New Hope and stuff.
I'm just a bit pissy at the fact that it shouldn't have been a setup to be developed in sequels. It should have been solo. It should have been a solo film. Also, it's kind of. How did you feel the way they gave him the name? Were you expecting it?
I didn't. I laughed because it was like laughably bad. Like I just kind of like I was just like I just chuckled to my. There's a couple points like in Rogue One where I chuckled to myself because it's quite bad. Like it's just stupid. Like when the people from the cantina show up in Rogue One.
It was
just like, why the fuck are you there?
It was an interesting writing choice. To not have his name actually be Han Solo.
I think that might be in a Phil Lord and Chris Miller, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I think all the bad comedy might have just been a Phil Lord.
Really?
I think if there's moments in like this. There's moments like this where we find out the origin of the name and stuff for like the most of the humor, which feels out of place within the rest of the movie, like the rest of Howard's movie. It seems like he's just been like, this is pretty. Howard's gone in the editing room. It's like, we've got all this stuff that Phil Lord and Chris Miller have made, and he's like, oh, that's quite funny. Can we just add that in there? That'd be pretty amusing, or just the stuff he couldn't be bothered filming, and he's got it kind of doesn't it's jarringly out of place in the movie.
I want every character to be named that way. I just want him to look at the Wookiee and he doesn't really know his name yet. He's like, hey, what are you chewing on?
I didn't know that's how it kind of worked in like second names in Star Wars worked, because it was like a tribe.
It's weird that he
said it was like, what's your tribe? And I was like, what the fuck are you on about? Unless he'd already met Chewie, and he could have just been Han Baka. That'd been funny. Sorry, what were you saying?
Maybe what's his tribe? I was just saying, like, yeah, it's weird that he kept the name. It really gave no reason to why he'd still go, yeah, I'm Han Solo.
You just said he's Han.
He kept calling himself Han Solo throughout the film. But yeah, Alden was alright. He doesn't beat Tom Hardy for the title of best takeover of a role.
Who did Tom Hardy?
Because I think Tom Hardy's really good as Mad Max.
Oh right, yeah. He's. He doesn't say a lot, but yeah, whatever. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, but he's still really good as Mad Max. Like, yeah. I want to see how Alden would have portrayed Han under the direction of Lord and Miller, because they must have hired him because they thought he would fit their style of filmmaking, and I think he would have shown more personality maybe under their direction.
I don't know how this would. I think we might have been in for a bomb, like just a complete mess if it was still Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
It's really interesting. I'd
love to dimension hop and be like, oh, I'll just go and quickly see what Phil Lord and Chris Miller's solo movies.
No, like. we just have to constantly tweet #release the Lord and Miller cut,
because it'll happen, like the Snyder cut.
Because that will work. Moving on from Han Solo to I think one of the other most excited for characters to see. Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. How did you feel about him and his Billy D. Williams impression?
It was horrible. Like, I think there's moments where he's pretty good, but you could tell. I don't know if I messaged you after you'd seen it, and you were like, you could tell he added an
Oh,
impression.
you can tell if you rewatch it again, you can tell when it's like the reshoots, because when you first meet him, he's not doing it, and then like almost as soon as you get to the outside bit, any outside bit, he's doing a Billy D. Williams impression.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
he starts. I think he might start in that scene. No, he doesn't start in the scene with Clint Howard. So yeah, it is as soon as they get outside. That is when he.
So
starts.
you think he was doing it for Lord and Miller and wasn't doing it for Howard? Do you think?
It's
It's difficult.
think so.
I can't tell what was Ron Howard and what was, because it's 70% Ron Howard's movie, and I think I'm trying to figure, because it's less of the movie that he does the bad impression than the majority. So I don't know, but it's really, when he does slip into that, it's really bad. Like he's just kind of doing a bad Billy D. Williams impression. Like he just, when he spoke to him or whatever, he's like, I'm gonna copy your accent completely.
Yes.
It's not good. He's not given a lot to do, is he? He just kind of sits at the side.
Yeah, he has this strange relationship with L337.
Yeah.
Who you seem to love.
I liked her a lot. She was very funny. She was one of the best parts of the movie for me. She, like, every time she was on screen, she always had a smile on my face. But are we just doing spoilers, by the way? Because we seem to have just given away the entire plot and have given away some plot points.
I don't care about.
Should we just put a spoiler tag on the? Yeah, just put a spoiler tag on the entire episode. When she died, I thought she died too quickly, and I didn't feel like there was a lot riding on it. I didn't know her well enough, so I still thought she was a bit shit. But
I think she's one.
Her comedy worked. I thought. Like, our comedy worked a lot better. Like, our comedy worked well. I thought she was very funny with the whole, like, social justice warrior kind of thing and getting rights for robots.
I think she's going to be one of the least memorable characters of the entire...
That's
one of the least
possible.
main characters of the Star Wars. Well,
it's 100% possible that'll happen because she's only in it for, like, half an hour, it feels.
I feel like she may have been added in the Ron Howard reshoots.
Do you think so? I feel like she feels like a leftover of Lord and Miller, that's all, but...
No, I don't know. I don't know where I thought. I think it's just because in the trailers, like, in the shoots that are Lord and Miller, she's not really present, so I don't know. But yeah, I feel like she may have been added when Ron Howard took over.
Do you think so? Because it's Lawrence Kasdan kind of script, isn't it? And
yes,
it's not
Lawrence Kasdan,
it's
who
not
wrote
like
Empire Strike Back.
Not like Ron Howard decided I'm gonna add this bit in or whatever, and I don't think he has a lot of say in that kind of stuff. That department.
I know, but I think that they had time to sort of redo because they were reshooting everything.
Yeah,
they could have just put her in.
The CGI was really good in her, though.
I don't think she meant anything. She was literally there to.
No, but she was funny. I thought she was funny. I didn't think she meant anything. I thought she was underused, but
she was literally there to be, when she died, she was there to be the navigation unit of the Millennium Falcon.
Was that a big deal in the original movies? Like,
no.
What was
and
that
it doesn't
about?
really change. It doesn't really change it for me. It doesn't change any other films entirely. So I think she was pointless.
She was useless. She was useless, but she was funny. Is what I was.
She was only there because they didn't have a funny droid character.
Yeah. Also, first movie about R2 and C-3PO.
But it did have Anthony Daniels.
Did it? I did not know that.
He was Tuck, who was that guy at the beginning on Corellia under Lady Proxima. Fun fact.
Wait, the big slug guy, big slug woman.
He was the right hand man of the slug woman.
All right.
Is Chewbacca the most underrated Star Wars character? Because he was really good in this film.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay. Could
He
you
he and Han
elaborate on
Solo,
that?
I think he and Han Solo had the best character, uh, not character work, but just relationship and
Do you
moments
think so?
together.
I thought
Because
there was a couple cringy moments between those two. Do you like part like
I
the
think
bit
it's very
where it's like, oh,
it's very
Chewbacca, that's a long
strange.
name. I'm not gonna call you Chewbacca. I'm gonna call
It's
you Chewie because it's too long. We have to think of a nickname for you. Like,
it's very strange to hear a non Wookiee do Wookiee or whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. The language. That was a very strange moment. Um, but yeah, I love Chewbacca so much, and I think he's so underutilized. I came out of Last Jedi going, I really wanted to see him and Poe Dameron have a pilot off because I think he might be the best pilot because he's always doing this great uh, pilot work and you get any praise. And he didn't get a fucking medal. So yeah,
well,
he is the most underrated and underappreciated character. Also, my dog is literally a Wookiee. Other
yeah,
characters.
Kira was cool. I liked Kira.
Tobias Beckett and Kira, Woody Harrelson,
They
and
felt a bit pointless. Everyone felt a bit. This whole movie felt a bit pointless. Now that I think about it.
anyone. I feel like Kira and Tobias could have been played by anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Which yeah, because when Woody Harrelson didn't really, well, neither of them really made the characters their own. I think under Lord and Miller's direction, I think there may have been a reason for Woody Harrelson to be cast because he is really good at doing both comedy and serious roles.
Yeah.
So, but I don't think he got enough. I think he was always just too serious, and he was always just the kind of he wasn't really a mentor to Solo. He was just the reason Han was there.
Mm-hmm.
Like Han was just following him around, and yeah, I don't his. Also, the same exact plot twist is in this film that is in The Last Crusade, which I watched first when I was maybe about 9 or 8 or sometime around there, and
Mm-hmm.
I guessed the plot twist then before it happened. And that's when if a character says to you, "Don't trust anybody,"
Oh yeah.
that
It
usually
just
means
I
don't trust that guy.
it goes to something that I felt about the entire film where it just felt a bit like I think it was either someone I think it was you were missing Sunday movies or whatever. It just felt like paint by numbers. Like it felt derivative of many things that it just kind
Mm-hmm.
of it just didn't feel like its own thing while also not feeling like
Yeah,
a Star Wars movie. So it just felt a bit rubbish. Like
that's why I was saying it. It's most of it is set around the Kessel Run, and it is just a setup to more Solo films. Um, I did like that there was the cheeky they fixed the argument of Han shot first.
yeah, by just shooting
Uh,
Tobias immediately.
mhm.
Spoiler alert.
Um, we got fucking Darth Maul,
Yeah, I can't say this
or
out loud
just
because I'm in
Maul.
a house with people that
Yes.
haven't seen the movie, but I also agree that this plot twist was very terrifying to me.
Were you surprised
I
at his?
I was surprised a lot. I gasped audibly in the cinema. It was just me and like two other people because it was 10 a.m. But I was like, because it's the second time a man with a red face and a hood has shocked me in that very cinema.
Played again by Ray Park. This time by voiced by Sam Witwer, who did the voice of Maul in the animated
The Clone
series,
Wars
the
and
Clone Wars
Rebels.
and Rebels, which I have seen and knew that he was alive, which meant that I
I
wasn't
knew
as
I knew he was
surprised.
alive and kicking. I didn't think he was gonna go. I didn't think I was gonna see him. Is what I meant because I didn't. You don't expect big movies to reconnect with their television shows. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I think this might be the closest the films have ever gotten to sort of sharing a character. Well, not sharing a character, but having a character from that's been focused on in the animated series show up in the film. I wasn't like, oh my god. I was like, oh cool. That's cool that he's going to be in these films.
I didn't know he owned
How are
like
they
crime
going to mess
syndicates
up?
and stuff. I just knew he was alive.
Yeah, he's the boss of the motherfucking Shadow Collective. Which
when they name dropped, did they name drop that? I'm pretty sure they name dropped that. Like, or Crimson, was it Crimson Dawn or whatever? Or did you go, I know who owns that, I'm gonna see him? Or did you?
I knew, I don't think I think Crimson Dawn, I don't know if they've ever said anything about Crimson Dawn in the other, like in the comics and the animated series and stuff, but when Kira, like, because it was like, oh, Kira's sort of taking over the Crimson Dawn and they're this gang people and she's talking to this guy, I was like, oh, it's Maul, because he is in charge basically behind the scenes of the Crimson Dawn, the Black Sun, who are featured like gang in multiple mediums. Jabba the Hutt is sort of under the finger of Maul. So yeah, I
knew he was alive, and I know he has a brother or whatever. And I was a little bit like skeptical that it was him or just someone of his race, which was like I was a bit like, is that him? Is that him? Is that him? And when he got the lightsaber, and I was like, oh, is that him? Is that him? Is it him? Even after he'd done the hood reveal, I was like, is that him? Are we 100%? And when they lit it up, I was like, oh yeah, it's him. But there was a little bit of me that was still like thinking about it. But I was very excited by that. That was one of the very few moments where I had a massive smile on my face, just because I like it when stuff like that kind of comes full circle. The same way that I felt about Yoda showing up in The Last Jedi. Like I lost it. I was so happy.
Oh, I was way more happy at Yoda. That was lovely. But this appearance is obviously leaving the film open ended. So do you think Maul? Do you think he's going to be the overarching bad guy of the Solo trilogy, or do you think this is them going, right, so he's going to be in the films, he may be in the Obi-Wan film, which is what people are theorizing, which
that could happen. I think the Star Wars story movies are gonna interweave somehow. Now hear me out, I feel like Jyn Erso is gonna be in some way part of the next heist with Jabba.
No, said that about this film.
I honestly think I think Jyn Erso has if Felicity Jones has a contract, she's got movies. I think she's gonna show up at some point. She's gonna show up in one of these prequel movies, 100%.
Do the contracts include showing up in TV shows?
No, I know she does. Forces of Destiny or whatever it's called, the girl one.
That's just a stupid thing that they've done, but yeah, carry on.
It's canon, apparently. Who knew? I looked on the internet and it was canon.
Oh yeah, it's canon, but it's like web shorts that are focused on I think it's 5 female characters in Star Wars that have brown hair and are white and look similar.
I'm pretty sure the one from Rebels is not
Ashoka.
white.
Ashoka.
She's red.
But you have Padme, Leia, and Rey.
Hey, who doesn't love a brunette?
Very similar. They look very similar.
Who doesn't love a brunette? Would you watch another one? Would you watch the next one?
Hitler.
If you didn't go to the cinema all the time and only went to see certain movies, like, I can afford to see 5 movies a year, and Solo 2 has been announced for 2020.
Well, it's Star Wars, so of course I'm gonna fucking see it. Like, I was watching this film going, like, right, I know it's Star Wars, so you're going to be very excited, obviously, because it's just Star Wars, and Star Wars has this sort of feel where it's like...
I wasn't excited, which is, I feel like, and I think we touched on this a little bit, was it December? Was it the fact it wasn't December? And it just felt like another summer movie, which was, because...
No, yeah, obviously,
the way it looks...
overexcited, maybe it's not, overexcited is not the word, but just the way that it's like, okay, so you're going to be sort of confused because you're seeing a Star Wars film.
Yeah.
So you're not going to be sure if it's good or bad. So don't look at it as a Star Wars film. Just look at it sort of how it connects with Star Wars and its own film. So as it's as a standalone film, it was a bit meh.
As a Star Wars movie, it's a bit meh. I think.
But it's better than Rogue One.
Wow, that's difficult.
Oh, I fucking hate Rogue One. Solo is the best Star Wars prequel.
Yeah.
Hands down.
No. Revenge of the Sith. Fuck you.
No.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nah, you fucked it, man.
Sorry.
I haven't seen the prequels in ages.
Sorry, not sorry.
But Solo, way better than Rogue One, had characters that I actually
Revenge of the Sith,
enjoyed
Solo,
seeing.
Rogue One, Phantom Menace, Attack of Clones.
It had characters I actually enjoyed seeing. It had...
But it just... Did you... The score. That was interesting. That was one of the things I noticed, which was a bit crazy. It had like
cool.
It had a tribal feel to it, which I was not expecting.
Oh, whenever that character shows up that I've forgotten the name, that sounds like Inverness.
Yeah.
If you've seen Akira, you would know what this means. But every time she shows up, there's like this sort of tribal scream, and I got very Akira
Right.
vibes from it. Or Ghost in the Shell actually is the same sort of.
It was one. It just kind of shocked me they were doing something kind of interesting with it. Apparently, Han Solo's theme, like John Williams' Han Solo theme, was in it as well. But I don't think I know Han's theme that well, which is strange to me. I couldn't like hum it to you.
I was getting ready to be really pissed off. Whenever Han and Kira had a scene, because I was like, if they play the princess and Han,
they wouldn't do that.
I'm going to be very annoyed. But yeah,
is that yeah? I love that one.
Oh yeah, great score,
Williams,
obviously.
great stuff. And Solo had an interesting score. I'll give it that. It did feel a bit out of place sometimes, but it did some interesting things, which was something I didn't expect to be saying to you. Like Michael Giacchino. Why this Italian name? He had a bit of he had one of his worst scores to date with Rogue One, I thought, because it just felt a little bit derivative of like.
Yeah,
it was just not fun. It was just.
I remember hearing that and being like, "What the fuck."
Did you not get a feeling? Did you not get a feeling where it's like, I'm watching a really weird fan film right now, aren't I? That's just that's what I'm doing right now. It feels like a strange.
But Star Wars
fan
just
film.
has that feel. Like every time, like it may not have been like very hypey. It didn't have a really hyped build up. Yeah. But whenever Lucasfilms shows up at the beginning of a film, I will get excited. Whenever the Lucasfilms logo appears, and then it comes up saying "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." I think,
and then it had
there's nothing like it.
Crawl. What was that about? That slideshow that we just had before, of slideshow of words we had with the blue text. It just felt a bit weird, and we didn't have the. And it didn't cut to anything. It just had Solo: A Star Wars Story appear within the actual frame, which was strange. You know how in Rogue One it cut to
it came after, because it's black and then it's like him starting a car or whatever. It's a land speeder.
It comes over, it moves with the skyline. It's strange.
Yeah, it's very odd. It was a very right. How did you feel it was in terms of just a standalone sci-fi film?
I thought it was mid-range, a bit average. Like it felt like kind of Fast and Furious in space sometimes, kind of thing. I don't know. I've not seen a Fast and Furious.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
It's not a great thing. I've seen Fast and Furious 7 and it felt a bit like that, just in space and a bit meh. I feel like
it
feels a bit middle of the road.
I feel like it was just it was a fun sci-fi film, but as a Star Wars film,
I felt
nothing's
I don't know. I wouldn't say
nothing's
fun.
ever gonna beat the original series or the new series.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Obi-Wan or Boba Fett is amazing, I don't think anything's gonna beat Episode 4 end up. So yeah. If you were to give it a letter grade, what would you give it? Like we did last time for Deadpool.
Try and C+?
Yeah, C+, yeah. That was good. Yeah. It was...
I'm trying to think of how letter grades work. I would be 3 stars, 6 out of 10, or C+. That's kind of where I am.
Could have been better.
It could have been a lot better, but I feel it was... I don't blame Ron Howard, because this isn't what... I don't think he was trying to phone it in. Like he does with Da Vinci Code. I think if he had this film from the very beginning, we would have had something a lot more interesting.
I think it would have been a lot more interesting if they had made this film as a solo film, and that's going to be the end quote of today's podcast. Thank you for listening, everyone.
Next week, Jurassic World, I assume. When are you putting this out?
Oh yeah. This will be out on Tuesday. So yeah,
We could
will
do.
It be next week?
No, so next week we'll do Jurassic Park movies, and then we'll do.
Yeah, we can do
Jurassic World. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom comes out the next week, because I don't plan on seeing a lot of stuff at the cinema next week. This week coming, so
yeah,
we could just talk about. I don't know, nonsense in Jurassic. Man. Yeah, just chill with us for a bit. Anyway, it's been great having you. Thank you for this. We're doing the outro. I interrupted you midway through the outro. Continue this.
Yeah, if you want to get in contact with us, you can get in contact with us with Twitter at Ohio Films. You can get in contact with me on Twitter at Real Jordi Steele. Real is in film reel, and steel is in the metal, not with an E at the end, which is really weird why people confuse that.
People confuse that.
You can oh yeah, constantly. It's so weird that they mistake my name as the way that weird people spell the name Steel and not the metal. And then for my first name, you can just fucking guess how you spell it. You can follow Cameron at Camzo OG.
Yeah.
That's pretty fairly. We also have a Facebook if you want to join that. We rarely post on it because nobody really follows us.
With Facebook.
We also have an Instagram where it's literally just updates on when podcasts have been uploaded. Please share this podcast with your friends. We really enjoy doing it, and we really want more people to sort of get involved. If more people got involved, then we could have a pretty cool thing going.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Yeah, next week we'll be back with the Jurassic Park trilogy, talking about each of those films and why the first one will never be beaten. Maybe?
Well, get ready for hot takes. You'll see.
Oh, really?
No, I don't know. I was just saying that to be more interesting. Hot takes.
All right, to leave it open-ended. All right. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.